Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you all about the debut full-length studio album from Oceans, The Sun and the Cold, out January 10th on Nuclear Blast. This album has 11 tracks, 50 minutes in length. This band is a mixture of modern death metal, I would go as far as to say melodic death metal, with new metal and then some post-rock influences. So think about those three genres, think about all the specific characteristics that are unique to those genres, and then picture how this album sounds like. Because it really pulls out of all three, and it really combines all three on every single song on the record. While this band is a newcomer to the metal scene, the band members have a lot of experience playing in other bands, other projects, and they really bring all of that quality, all of that experience, all of that baggage into this project, into this album. That to me is one of the key ingredients on how this album works and how it sounds the way it does, because it would be very difficult, be a really tall order for a band that never released a full-length studio album to put together an album with this kind of quality, but at the same time with this kind of detail and with this kind of volatility to its sound, to the vocals, and to the overall structure that the album has. So it had to come from a place of experience, because this album is very mature, it's very unique in its approach, and it has a very unique sound. Overall, the album really surprised me on the positive. I wasn't sure if I was going to review this album, and the moment I sat down and I listened to the first song, I knew I had done the right thing. This album is absolutely magnificent. It has great sound, great atmosphere, and great vocals. To me, those are the main three ingredients, if you will, as far as the overall record is concerned. Going a little bit into the sound, I felt that the album had a lot of death metal roots for sure, but then you get this post-rock atmospheric nuances really pulling, really distorting that death metal bassline sound, and then you include new metal guitar riffs and new metal twists to the way the guitars are sound, and that's how you have the overall sound on the record. Really unique, really pulling out of three different genres, really getting the most out of these three different genres to create every single song in a very unique, specific way. That to me was one of the main focal points, but one of the main reasons why I fell in love with this album. The album has also the ability, not only from its sound, but more so from the atmosphere that it creates, to pull different emotions out of every single song, and sometimes even within the same song, you're going to get a different emotional response out of different portions of the song. That is not something easy to create. You have songs that start more in a somber feel that make you feel a lot more introspective, becoming a little bit more aggressive, more intense, going back into a more subdued manner, a little bit more somber manner. So the songs themselves have this roller coaster of emotions, and that really pulls those same emotions out of you, the listener, as you're going through the journey of the album. I really feel that the way they did that really blends into the next point of discussion, which is the vocals. The way the vocals come at you with a harsh and clean really allow the album to have a bipolar sound to it. It allows the album to have clean vocals, almost somber, very dark and haunting at times, and then harsh vocals that add a lot of intensity and aggression. The way the vocals were recorded on the album and how they interact with each individual song, the same emotions that the songs pull out of you, the songs pull out of them. So they went with the emotion that they had on a specific moment of the track, and then they decided to use either clean or harsh vocals depending on what the emotions were. If that specific portion of the song, either be the verses or the chorus, had more of a melancholic feel, a more somber feel, they went with clean vocals. If that portion of the song brought something energetic, brought some anger out of them, then they went with the harsh vocals. So the vocals are an immediate response, an immediate reaction, a reflex almost to how they feel at any point in time within any given track. That to me is absolutely magnificent and really adds so much soul to the overall record. This album, as far as the atmospheric elements is concerned now, and that to me is the last component of the three main components. As far as the atmospheric elements are concerned, this is an album that really gives a lot of it has a lot of thought process into it. They didn't create an album that's necessarily atmospheric, but the way they merged those three styles, post-rock with the new metal and modern death metal, they really created some bridges within the songs, and then when you look at the overall album, they created some atmospheric elements for sure. They play into perfection into that emotional roller coaster that you're going to get on every single song, and you're going to get on the overall album, not only coming out of you, but also coming out of them, and the way the vocals are hitting you time and time and time again. So I really like those little atmospheric nuances that were introduced on every single song in order to reflect better and to transmit better to the listener the mood of the song and the overall mood of the album. When I look at this record overall, to me this is an incredible debut record. Absolutely magnificent. One that I'm extremely happy that I took the time to sit down and listen to, because I discover a band that has a very unique sound, that has the sound that I really gravitate towards. So I'm really happy with this record. This is an incredible debut record, really polished, really mature, really well put together. A record that, while being a debut record, like I mentioned earlier, is being made by a band that has a lot of experience, and that was obvious with this album. So while being a debut record, this album sounds like it's been the 5th or 6th release from a band. Well done. As far as songs are concerned, I want to start off with the opening track, which is also the name of the album, and that's The Sun and the Cold. That is the opening track. I love this song, and I love this to be the opening song on the record. You want the opening song to be a track that welcomes you in, that pulls out the red carpet and makes you feel welcome into the album, and then once you're in, the door closes behind you, and then it's too late. You're already in, you're engaged, you're in there. This song does that for you 100%. It's a song that has a lot of the condiments that you need on an opening track in order to engage the audience, to get the audience glued into what's going to come next. So this is a song that, in my opinion, has powerful elements to it, but it's also intense, it's also melancholic, and when you put all of those things together, it really creates this really heavy wall of sound coming at you. After the heavy opening, you get clean vocals, and they bring the mood into a more somber place. And that's one of the things that they're able to do with the vocals. They create atmosphere with the style of vocals. Until the harsh vocals kick in, and they kick in the chorus, and then you get these killer drums with a brilliant riff that just absolutely destroy everything around it. So this is a song that has this bipolar sound to it, which is pretty much a synopsis of what you're going to get through the whole record. This song really encompasses all the elements that you're going to see on every other track following this one. So this, and that to me is the reason why this is the best opening track possible. I really like all the alternating atmospheric melancholic landscape elements with the death metal brutality that it has. Is a song that really incorporates those two worlds extremely well, and it's very volatile. One minute you're high, the other minute you're very low. Has that bipolar feel to it. Next, Shadows, a more modern sounding track. To me, this almost felt like more of a metalcore track, actually, not only in how it sounded, but also the structure that it has. The opening harsh vocals come in, and the harsh vocals become one of the predominant vocal styles within the track. They use some clean vocals, but they use it more as layers or backing vocals. Sometimes they become in the forefront, and you have this alternating style between harsh vocals and clean vocals. But most of the time, when you look at the overall song, this is a harsh vocal track with the clean vocals coming in more to add texture and volume to the song. And I like that dynamic. I really like that style. I think it really adds something. It gives something different to this specific song. When you have harsh vocals with clean vocals behind it, normally that gives more heaviness to the track. On this specific song, I felt that it took a little bit of the heaviness away, but increased the intensity, increased the atmosphere, the mood that the song had. So it gave a different feel to it, and that to me was very well put together. The song overall has a great tempo, and that adds the intensity and the overall heaviness that it has. At moments it really hides the heaviness well, but this song is perhaps both emotionally heavy and musically heavy. Last but not least, my favorite song on the album, Legions Arise. A very somber, very different from the previous two. This is a more methodic, a more somber song, and it has extreme melody, specifically in the choruses, both musically and vocally. And then to me, that melody really increases in intensity in the chorus and gives you a jolt of energy in that chorus. You get a little bit of that in the verses, but there's a increase of melody, both musically and vocally, in the chorus that really allows the song to just burst through the seams. It's a song that always feels like it's building up towards that chorus, and it's about to erupt at any given time. So the killer guitar riff that follows the second chorus replaces almost the solo in that spot, and that to me is something that works extremely well with this track. You don't need a solo on this song in order to make the song work, or to make the song more melodic, or to give the song something different, because the song has this very methodic approach. By instead of putting a guitar solo, including this really menacing, for lack of a better word, menacing guitar riff, you almost do the same thing without going there. But you add a different feel, you add a different texture, you throw a curveball to the listener. And for a song like this, it's almost a song that that makes you think a little bit. I really like that detail because it's a little bit of a curveball that adds something. It adds intensity and adds aggression without being overly melodic and without taking something away from the song, from the overall feel and atmosphere of the song, but more important, without breaking the song. So I really like that aspect that it has. Also, this is a track that, in my opinion, perhaps is the most hooky and catchy track of the album, because to me it's one of the more melodic ones. It hides the heaviness really well, and it's one of those songs that's very melodic, very well put together, that has melody both musically and vocally. So because of those components and because of how the chorus works, how you get that jolt of energy in the chorus, to me this becomes a very hooky, very catchy, an absolute earworm of a track, my absolute favorite song on the record. Alright guys, this is it. This is Oceans, The Sun and the Cold, out January 10th on Nuclear Blast. Let me know your thoughts on the band. Let me know your thoughts on the record. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those as always and getting back to you. Take care, guys.